Hi guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you my O.W.L.S Magical Readathon TBR. So the O.W.L.S Magical Readathon is a Harry Potter themed readathon that the first portion of it takes place during April, and the second part, the Newts part of it, takes place in August each year. This is the third year that the Book Roast is hosting this readathon, and I've never participated in it before, and honestly, I wasn't planning on participating in it this year, but then peer pressure got to me and I saw everybody's TBRs, and I know this is a huge readathon within the booktube community, so I want to participate. And so my kind of plan of attack with this, I went through all of the careers that you can the way that it's run. Okay, let me start over. The way that it's run is that there is a career guidebook, and you can pick a career that you would like to try to achieve, and based on that career it'll tell you which owls or exams in the Harry Potter world you need to complete. And in order to complete that exam, there's a specific prompt that you need to read a book that fulfills that prompt. So for each career, there are certain owls that you have to pass, and then if you pass them, then in August you take the Newts and you have to read certain books to fill certain prompts for those specific Newts in the fall. So my plan of attack with this is to pick a book for every prompt for the owls and to take as many owls as I possibly can. That way my options are open in the fall when it comes time to take the Newts, and then depending on what I accomplish with the Newts, that will kind of determine what career I would like to achieve. So that's my plan of attack. I don't know if that's the right way to do it. That's the way I'm planning on doing it. I do have in mind a couple of careers that I'm kind of aiming for, so I'm going to try to read those books first for the prompts that I need for my owls for those, or for those careers first, or that career. You can only do one career first, and then kind of fill in as many as I can throughout the month. I also have a lot of other things I'm planning on reading this month, and so I don't know how successful this is going to be for me, but I figured what the heck, we can at least try. So in this video, I wanted to share what I'm going to be reading for each of the prompts for each of the owls. So anyway, there are 12, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 owls that you can take. The first is Ancient Runes, and the prompt for this is to read a book with heart in the title or on the cover. So I had a really hard time with this because there wasn't a whole lot that I wanted to read soon. Sorry, my books just fell everywhere. There wasn't a whole lot of books kind of that I had been planning on reading soon that had a heart on the cover, but I did find one on my physical TBR that's kind of a fluffy read that I figured I will get to it if I can, and that's Emily Giffen's Where We Belong. It has a heart on the cover, and I honestly have no clue. I don't remember anymore what this is about, but Emily Giffen is one of those authors that I enjoy reading her books when I need something light and fluffy, and so I figured this would be a good option for that, and this is one of those that I'll get to it if I get to it, but if I don't, I don't. But that's what I'm planning on reading for the heart on the cover prompt. The next owl is Arithmancy. I don't know how to say that word. And that is to read something outside of your favorite genre. And for this, had already planned on reading the library book by, I don't remember, Susan Orlean maybe? I'll put the picture up. But anyway, this is a nonfiction book, and that is well outside of my favorite genre. That's actually a genre I don't really read a whole lot of, so that fits. And this is about the LA Public Library, I believe, and a fire that happened there. So I had already planned on reading that. The next owl is Astronomy, and that is to read a majority of a book when it's dark outside. I do that anyway. Anytime I read a book via ebook, it's when it's night. I'm not really gonna pick a specific book that I'm gonna do this with. I'm just gonna kind of wait and see what I'm going to be reading throughout the month. I have no doubt that this prompt will get filled, but I don't have a specific book I'm planning on filling this prompt with. The next one is Care of Magical Creatures, and that is to read a book that has an animal with a beak on the cover, which is very random, but I do have a book that I just bought. So this is kind of a sneak peek, I guess, spoiler for my book outlet haul that I just purchased. And that is The Emperor's Ostrich by Julie Berry. This is a middle grade book, and I don't really know a whole lot about it other than I've heard multiple people say that it's absolutely fantastic, and I believe it's kind of like fairy tale-esque. There's a ginormous ostrich on the front of it, but other than that, I'm not super sure. The first line of the synopsis says, Dairy Maid Begonia has lost her cow, Alfalfa. Now she has only a magic map to lead the way across the empire of Chameleon to find her. So, we'll see, but I thought that that would be a fun one to read for that prompt. Also, as we start getting into some of these next ones, you will see that my kind of plan of attack when I was putting together this TBR is to take whatever I never finished in middle grade March and try to apply as many of those books to this as possible, because I do want to read so many of these books that I didn't get to in March. And so I really want to try to read some of those in this prompt and these prompts so that I get them read. And some of those are the books that I did for my try a chapter tag, because I actually didn't finish any of those in March. I'm planning on reading them all in April, so I was trying to get those to fit into here. So the next owl is Charms, and that is to read a book with a white cover. And for this, I picked Moo by Sharon Creech. This is one that I picked in my try a chapter tag, and it is about a girl whose family, Zora, was chasing us. Oh wait, no, it is about, what's her name? Rena. Her family moves to Maine, this farm in Maine. I have no idea what else it's about. I read the first couple chapters of it and that's it. But it sounded really interesting, and it's white, so that works. So that's what I'm planning on reading for my Charms owl. The next one is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and that is to read a book that is set at sea or on the coast. And for this one, another one that I didn't read yet from my try a chapter tag, I'm going to be reading The Girl Who Sailed the Stars by Matilda Woods. This one is about a little girl whose father is upset that he never got a son, and so she is trying to kind of prove herself to her father. It is completely blue on the inside. Every single page kind of has these illustrations on it. It's really, really fun. The first couple of chapters were amazing. They just sounded so much fun. So very, very excited to read that one. The next one is Divination, and that is to pick a book with a random number generator. And the way that I decided to do this is, in my bullet journal, I made a list of all of the books that were on my TBR for middle grade March, and this is what it looked like. There are all these books, and I highlighted them as I read them. So you can see there are a number of books on here that I never read. So there are actually 22 books on here that I never read. So I figured I would put the numbers 1 through 22, and whichever number comes up, that's what I will use for this. Just because, like I said, I want to read some of these books that I didn't get to in middle grade March. So I have my little computer right here, and I put in 1 and 22, and the number is 22. So that is No Fixed Address by Susan Nielsen. This is about, sorry about that glare. This is about a kid who, 12 and 3/4-year-old Felix Knutson is homeless. Him and his mom are homeless, and so it's a middle grade book about homelessness. So I will be reading that one, I guess, for divination. The next one is Herbology, and that is to read a title that starts with an M. And for this one, I am actually going to be continuing to read a book that I started in March, but I didn't finish. And that is The Marvels by Brian Selznick. And I started this one, but this one, okay, so Brian Selznick books have these like full page illustrations in them like this, and then part of the book is print like this. And in his other two books, it was kind of throughout the book were the illustrations, and it was kind of like every other page or every few pages was back and forth. In this one, the first like 2/3 maybe of the book is illustrations, and then the whole last third of the book is the written part of the book. So I've gone through and I've gone through all the illustrations, but I haven't actually read any of the print part of the book. So I'm going to be using this for my herbology owl and finishing that up. The next one is History of Magic, and that is to read a book with witches and wizards. And for this one, I decided to use another book that I just picked up from Book Outlet, and that is Love, Sugar, Magic, A Dash of Trouble. This is the first book in a series, but this is about a girl who, it says her mother, aunt, and four older sisters are brujas, which are witches of Mexican ancestry, and they pour a little bit of sweet magic into everything they bake. So that one sounded like it'd be a lot of fun. I've heard really, really, really good things about this one too. So that's kind of a different witch or wizard book that a lot of people probably wouldn't pick up for that prompt. The next owl is Muggle Studies, and that is to read a contemporary book. And for this, I picked another book that was on my Try a Chapter tag video, and that is Towers Falling by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I tried listening to the audiobook of this in March, and the narrator was horrible. Like, it wasn't that the narrator was horrible, it's just after reading the first couple of chapters of this, the way that the narrator was narrating the protagonist in this was not the way that I had imagined it in my head. The narrator made her sound very snarky and very just angry, and in the book she's angry, but when I was reading it, it came off as more of like a sad angry, not like a nasty angry. And that's kind of how the narrator came off. So I DNF'd the audiobook, but I do want to read the physical book, so I added that one. That one is going to be my Muggle Studies pick. The next one is Potions, and that is to read a book that is less than 150 pages. So I have two different options for this. It just depends kind of on what mood I'm in, whether I'm in a middle grade mood or not. The first one that I picked up that I have is Roald Dahl the Twits. This one is, let's see, how many pages is this one? This one's 73 pages. So this one's really, really super short. And this is just a book about Mr. and Mrs. Twit are the smelliest, nastiest, ugliest people in the world. They hate everything except playing mean jokes on each other, catching innocent birds to put in their bird pies, and making their caged monkeys, the Mugglewumps, stand on their head all day. But the Mugglewumps have had enough. They don't want out. They want revenge. So that would be fun. But if I'm in the mood for something a little bit more serious than that, I also have The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. And this is kind of a compilation of just like 2 to 3 page stories of her growing up, I believe, in a Latino section of Chicago. So I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in at the time. And then the last owl is Transfiguration, and that is to read a book that features shape-shifting. And for this, I'm actually in the middle of a reread, like throughout the year, of Harry Potter. So I am going to be reading some Harry Potter for this, and that is The Prisoner of Azkaban. And I just think that this is so perfect because this is the book that I had already picked out to read this month for my Harry Potter reread, and it is the one that most features the shape-shifting element. So anyway, I'm very, very excited I've been listening to the audiobooks of these, so I'm excited to keep continuing that. So those are the books that I'm planning on reading for the Owl's Magical Readathon. If you are participating in this readathon, I would love to get your input on some of these prompts. What are you reading for them? What career are you, striving to obtain? That sort of thing. Also, if you have read any of these books that I've picked out, I would love to hear your comments about them and thoughts and opinions down below in the comments. But yeah, other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this. And obviously, I will link Book Roast's announcement video down below as well, and the website. She has a whole website for this readathon. So there you go for that. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya!